Yeah, we're very adamant that gamers should be played by gamer actors.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You can't play gamer.
Yes.
In 2017, Universal Studios announced the birth of a new shared universe of monster movies, bringing their classic horror icons into the contemporary franchise film landscape. But after the critical and financial failure of its first installment, the project was indefinitely abandoned. Now, in 2024, the powers that be have called upon one pulp horror devotee and one snarky film critic to unearth the concept. I'm Dylan Roth.
And I'm Dalton DeShane.
Are you afraid of the dark universe?
Ho, ho, ho. Welcome back to Are You Afraid of the Dark Universe?
Dalton just brought these sleigh bells out like they weren't even thinking about it. Just like the last,
I remembered while the theme song
while
was
the theme song was playing. Dalton just summons, like out of hammer space, a set of sleigh bells.
Look, I did a Honda Days holiday special for 5 years. Of course, I own sleigh bells.
What a wonderful way to start the episode.
Maybe I'll jingle these periodically during the script. Welcome to Are You Afraid of the Dark Universe for another holiday special. I am your prancing host, Dalton DeShane.
And I'm your dancing host, Dylan
There
Roth.
we go. And here on this show, we are continuing what the fuck do we say? Welcome to the podcast where we carry on Universal's failed cinematic universe of monster movies, one pitch at a time. We usually say that before the host thing, though.
We usually do, yes.
But it's the holidays, so we're switching things up.
Yeah, it's a time to shake things up, but also to observe exciting traditions like this tradition we started last year.
That's right.
Which is to do a special holiday special. A special special. That's right. Way to go, Dylan. What do you do for a living? You write things? You use words? So welcome, everyone, to another Dark Universe holiday special.
Yes, if you're just joining us, these are where we take a little break from the doom and gloom of our usual Dark Universe and have a little fun with our characters.
And boy, howdy, could we use it about now in our universe and in our lives.
Let's just be clear up front to anyone who's been so exhausted after death's door, but they saw this pop up on their feed and they're like, I'll give it a shot. This takes place before death's door.
Yes.
This
all your favorite characters are alive, unless your favorite character was Henry Jekyll, Chris Vale, or Larry Talbot.
Yes. This holiday special takes place the Christmas after our first holiday special. But also, if you're new, you can pretty much jump into this. It's a standalone story. There's going to be like some references and stuff you may not get, but mostly you can just come into this one cold, and it's just going to be a fun time.
Yes, if you've heard about this because people are talking about it because of the source material we secretly decided to adapt that no one listening to this the first day knows about yet,
or because
you'll be in good shape.
The special guest star.
That's right.
That we did or did not secure.
We'll find out.
We haven't secured them yet.
That's right. We have 2 weeks to get this all worked out.
And I'm going to be honest, we probably didn't.
But I'm going to do my damnedest.
Yeah, who knows?
To get us a special guest star for this episode. In addition to, hopefully, we will have our entire regular voice cast in.
It is, as we record this, it's Black Friday.
Yeah, just
exactly
like last year's.
One year from when we recorded the last holiday special. This one's longer. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, not on purpose.
But still an appropriate length for a holiday special. This is 45 script pages, which is appropriate for an hour-long holiday special. Last year's was a little on the shorter side, and that was okay. But it's not a two-parter.
No, this is going to be easy breezy, beautiful cover girl.
One of these years, we're going to do a Hanukkah special, and it's going to be an 8-parter. And it'll come out every night.
Yes, but each part will be pretty short. Yeah. Like, don't get too excited. There'll maybe be one where there's a big gift. The other ones are small gifts.
Honestly, we kind of could have done that with this one.
Actually, it would have been really funny if we'd done it we could have done it like that.
Like a little 10-minute chunks.
But we could
like a Quibi.
This is the Quibi one. That's
special,
right.
Yes.
Because in our universe, we actually did establish that COVID did happen in our universe.
Yeah.
But, they say the only thing that killed Quibi was that people weren't commuting on the subway.
That's the only thing, yeah.
Everything else about it was perfect, especially the quality of all the content.
Yes. But we're coming back with Quibi 2.
That's right. Getting a little bit quippy about Quibi today.
Yes. Oh God.
Listen, yeah, it's the holiday special.
It's the holidays.
It's the time of the year for sincerity, for groaner jokes, bad sweaters on purpose.
Yes, and watching movies that we know aren't very good, but are tradition, and so they make us feel good anyway.
Yes.
But this is going to be a movie that is good.
Was that you admitting that National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is actually not good?
No, that's a great film.
Okay, it's not very good, but that's okay.
It's an excellent
That's
film.
fine. I
It's
mean,
mean, but it's excellent.
I watched it for Dalton last Christmas, specifically because it was one of your favorite Christmas movies.
It is my favorite Christmas movie.
I believe I laughed one time.
That's a you problem.
I guess. Tell us in the comments.
Yeah, what you think of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yeah, what do you think of that? When let's have the yay and nay votes. I think it's mid at best.
You're also a Christmas Story hater, aren't you?
I also do not care for the Christmas Story at all.
I like A Christmas Story as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about. Didn't we talk about this at some point on the bonus pod? Maybe.
I think so. I think this is a Midwest versus East Coast thing.
Maybe
Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation are very Midwest coded.
I suppose, and I guess I'm just a coastal elite.
Yeah, you're a coastal elite.
And I like, and I'm all about.
This is why Trump won. No, I said we're not going to talk.
You
about
were the one who said we weren't going to
we're
talk
not going to talk
it.
about the election.
You're the one who said that.
We're not going to get sad about it.
No,
this is going to be. We had some people reach out after our Night of the Living Dead, and we're like, look, it's a good episode, but after the downer of Death's Door and the planning episode, which was very depressing, and then to hear us fighting on the Night of the Living, they were like, please, I want this podcast to be fun.
Right. I think that the note that we received that really rang with me is that one of the reasons why people who are not necessarily huge horror fans can dig the show is that there's always levity between the two of us, in between all of the gloom, doom, and the blood and the guts. And, last episode, things got a little heavy.
Well, two episodes ago.
Yeah. Because we also had a lot of fun with Alicia Stella.
With Alicia Stella.
That came out 2 weeks ago. But this one, it's all bits, baby.
Also, we've been stressed.
The
real world impacted us, but we're not going to focus on that.
But also, here's the thing. We didn't take a break between phases 3 and 4. We went directly in between. We do have an off season, but it's just like the month after this episode.
Yeah.
So... I was telling Dalton that for the first time since going freelance, I feel like I could use a vacation.
Yes, and you're gonna get one.
I'm gonna get one.
Luckily, but yeah, luckily we got to have fun with this one.
This was nice.
It was nice to just kind of do some jokes with our characters and have fun with them, and some new things as well, which you will hear soon. But before we go into it, we got to talk about your expectations.
That's
Dylan,
right.
What do you got for us? What do the people want?
Oh, the people had so many thoughts. We got a lot of guesses from various social media platforms. We're all over the place these days.
But please, I do want to say, if you haven't moved to Blue Sky yet, please come follow us on Blue Sky. I don't know about you, Dylan. I'm going to be posting on Twitter a lot less. I'm basically never on there anymore.
Any of my own stuff on Twitter, except for when I have an article that I've been paid to write. I feel like I have an obligation to post it everywhere that I have a following. But I don't hang out there anymore. I actually moved it off my home screen.
We'll probably post the social clips there, but if you want us doing bits and riffs and stuff like that, come follow us on
join
Blue
us
Sky.
there. Yeah.
darkuniversepod.bluesky.social.
But we did get we got comments from our lovely Discord, and from Twitter, and from Blue Sky, and lots of action on Instagram.
Lots of action on it. We have a lot of Instagram followers. Maybe it's because we run advertisements.
We run advertisements there, yes. But thank you all so much for all your enthusiasm about this. I've collected all of my favorite guesses here. Sorry if yours doesn't get read. We don't have an unlimited amount of time. And we want to get to the meat. So first of all, we had some guesses about what this episode was going to be like tonally. The overall consensus is that we were looking at something light, like last year's holiday special.
Yes. Last year there was some argument whether we would go dark and mean or keep it light, but yeah.
Although Jonah Pishkin on Instagram was guessing there might be a more somber mood, as Gwen may still be dealing with the death of her family.
True. This does happen post Native American Werewolf.
We specified this takes place between the House of Frankenstein duology and Mummy's Hand.
No,
I'm sorry,
Heaven's Gate.
Heaven's
we
Gate.
Always get those
I
confused,
always get that messed up. Probably means I should have named it something else. Let's see. And there are little saccharine-specific moments of things here. Like they say something will happen with Victor that will foreshadow the events of Van Helsing and make the audience cry. Actually, not the only person to think that was Kellen on Twitter. Zidon was here on Instagram, thinks there will definitely be jokes or throwaway lines about the characters' futures that will make the audience cringe. So Ella Dawson says, that's the voice of Denny Halsey, says, I better get to scream, Carrie! Carol again. I don't think we actually have her scream Carol.
We don't, but we do have Cassie say Victor. And that's basically all Joe gets to do when she voices Cassie.
That's right. We love our cast, and we're so grateful for them. People always think we're going to do a Christmas Carol. Carrie Ann Comfort on Blue Sky thought the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future would cause a time loop that would not end until the Christmas spirit is restored again. As usual, we have a lot of guesses that are just like good pitches for holiday specials, right?
And in fact, Reed on our Discord has made a whole universe of Dark Universe holiday specials.
That's right.
There's like a whole series of holiday specials that it's in. We have a whole fanfic channel.
Yeah, in that
Discord.
channel, that's just like there's like as many holiday specials as there are regular episodes of our show. We have Violet on the Discord says that we would see Victor's daughter appear again as the ghost of Christmas past, and we call the episode A Christmas Caroline.
Yes, which last year we called it a Krampus Carol. So it would be funny if just every year
one of them we did that.
We did a Christmas Carol pun. I'm going to spoil it. We didn't do a Christmas Carol.
Once again, we did not do a Christmas Carol. We got a lot of predictions that were about Santa, because we did not use Santa last time. We have not confirmed or denied the existence of Santa.
Although Hunter was very interested last year.
That's true. But we let the air out of their balloon and we didn't answer that question.
Yeah.
Gimmick Got Bored and from Instagram says that Santa is real and he's a hive mind that possesses the bodies of all the mall Santas and Voltrons them into a nasty flying flesh god.
Wait, that rocks.
That rules, actually, and everyone agrees it's the best idea and the easiest thing to introduce to the lore, says Gimmick Got Bored. And you know what? We're with you. We're jealous of this idea, and we wish we'd come up with it.
That's kind of like the end of Hundreds of Beavers.
Which I'm going to watch before we do our... it's a movie that's been recommended to me a bunch of times this year.
You got to watch it. Everyone, this is completely unrelated, but it's a good winter movie. It's free on YouTube and Tubi. Watch Hundreds of Beavers. Best movie of the year.
A little spoiler for Dalton's best of bonus episode.
I haven't decided if it's number one yet. I got to sit down in a while, but it's very, very good.
A couple of two different people, Joan Palmer 23 and SebWorld 520 on Instagram suggested that there would be a post-credit scene featuring Santa set during the Hell on Earth period. SebWorld specifically said that we'd see Santa killing demons in hell, turning into the new Doom guy.
That would be sick.
I actually don't know what studio released the Doom movie with Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
My gut says Sony.
That would be funny if we did a Doom remake for our holiday special.
That would be. There's a history of the Doom guy Santa meme, right? That's a thing?
That feels like a Sony movie. It sucks that you can like...
It's too early for it to be Lionsgate. I think that wasn't really their wheelhouse yet.
Yeah, you hear about like a bad big budget movie and you think, that sounds like Sony.
Yeah, it's true. We have no fear about shit talking them because we're not affiliated with them and they got...
It is Universal.
Damn it! Oh, God!
That's actually on us. That's on our parent company. I'm sorry, they're not our parent company.
We're not affiliated with them either.
Yeah, yes. Very clear.
We are legally completely distinct and please don't sue us.
We are fans. This is a fan podcast.
I also like that Vex Vixen on the Discord says that Santa will resurrect someone for one night by pulling them through death's chimney, which only he can access.
Very good.
I love that one. Soulless Gaijin on Twitter says that my guess is a dark parody based on Miracle on 34th Street with a hellish nightmare before Christmas twist with a drunken and bloody Santa played by David Harbour, who did play a drunken and bloody Santa in
Violent Night,
which I think was a Universal movie, seeks aid from a skeptical dark legion from demons who hijacked his slave for a mysterious plot. There's just a lot. It's a whole log line there. There's a lot going on.
Everyone's writing their own holiday specials.
Wonderful imaginations in our... we also have some fun ones here. Emotional support Faye Riviera from the Discord says it'll be a much-needed reprieve from all the loss we've dealt with as a fandom. Maybe Jenny literally tries to give Carol a magical Christmas, but it backfires. Oh, what if she accidentally brings gingerbread to life and they're evil?
That'd be a fun one.
I like on the vague level, we've pretty much given away. Yeah, this is a light one.
Yeah,
you were correct. We're trying to. We owe you guys
we are not trying to punish our audience. We want you to come back.
We delight in punishing our audience, but not today.
Yes. We want to punish you in the good way.
Yes.
Like BDSM.
Yes. as long as that's something that you are you're into.
Yes, this podcast
and you can give us enthusiastic consent for.
Yes, this podcast is storytelling S&M. It is stories and monsters.
There we go, stories and monsters.
Stories and monsters.
Bloody, disgusting stories and stories of monsters. There it is. Evan, Master Duelist Parks on Blue Sky says this year there should be a subplot in which Hunter and the Ferryman go through a reverse Home Alone situation where they are the wet bandits trying to claim a particularly stubborn and curmudgeonly soul. And maybe it also turns into a Christmas Carol story as well. Because everyone thinks it should be Christmas Carol.
Kind of Don't Breathe meets Home Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wade of Mutilation on Blue Sky says the well-meaning Dark Legion members should hatch a hijinks-filled scheme to reunite Victor and Quasimodo at Christmas.
Aw.
This is actually more than one. The majority of pitches that were character-specific. Last year, they were all about Jack. This year, there's a lot of people who are talking about Victor and Quasimodo and Esmeralda. For instance,
That makes sense.
Lee on the Discord and FrodoMan76 on Instagram both said that we got to see some Esmeralda because we have to have brought her back to life for a reason to do something.
Yeah, I mean...
Hold the phone. Hold that thought just for a little bit longer.
Okay. I'll leave that up to you.
Hold that thought,
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense because their story kind of ended, but I think people want to see that family more because we didn't really get to see them together until after Victor died. So that makes sense that people would want that. I also think that now we just have to never do a Christmas Carol riff.
We really can't.
We really can't. Everyone's had too many Christmas Carol ideas. They're better than what we're going to come up with. So we kind of have to leave that alone, I think.
We had other movie references people expected. McLaughlin for Awesome on Instagram said we would have a Invisible Man Die Hard movie.
And yet no one guessed the actual movie that we based our holiday special on. Yeah. I don't think we got a single prediction about it, did we?
Ours is kind of out there, though. We didn't pick something that was traditionally Christmassy.
Yeah, but no one guessed it. Am I correct?
That's correct. Okay. This will be a complete out of nowhere pick for everybody.
And I hope you enjoy it.
This is one of my favorite ones. TreyBebe18 on Instagram says that the Black Lagoon freezes over, allowing for a Dark Legion on Ice spectacular.
Ooh.
That's a pretty good one.
That's for a bonus episode when we pitch the touring tie-in productions, our Disney on Ice type thing.
Great idea. People wanted to see other Christmas-themed beings since we had the Krampus last year. Camp Dracula on Instagram wants a Yeti. Devin Scarata on Twitter wants Jack Frost to show up, and Gwen is having none of it. I naturally imagined we were talking about the hot Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians, voiced by Chris Pine.
Not Hot Frosty from the Hallmark movie everyone's talking about?
I am not aware of this.
You don't know about Hot Frosty?
Don't know about Hot Frosty.
Well, watch it before our year-end ranking, because who knows? Maybe it'll end up on your top 5.
Luke, like last year, wants to see the Yule lads, except for now they're all toxic gamers. And...
All right.
Finally, Violet thinks that David Krumholtz will be back, and Andy from the fanfics from the Discord says that it will be the actual David Krumholtz guesting on the show this year.
God willing.
What an amazing thing that would be to have happen.
Wouldn't that be incredible?
Finally, also, I have to point this one out. Andy from the fanfics from the Discord predicted that Dylan will finish his Christmas song in time to be in this episode. We'll see.
We still don't know.
I have finished writing it.
Okay.
I told Dalton before that I wanted to put it on there, and Dalton wisely said, Dylan, you were just telling me how burned out you are.
Yes.
Maybe don't commit to that on the air.
Yes.
So if I do it, it'll be tacked on the end of the episode. And then Dalton's allowed, like I did last year, to just add another one of their own songs as well.
Everyone post at Dylan and tell him not to risk his mental health over this song.
It'll be fun and good. It'll be nice. Okay. I think that's enough preamble, right?
Yes, we definitely got to get into it.
Let's dive into it. Let's go.
We're going to go into the holiday special. We're going to go straight through.
Mm-hmm.
We are not going to break for discussion because obviously we both know what happens.
Yeah.
After it's over, we'll go to a break and we'll come back and talk about it for a little bit. So without further ado, if you are traveling in your car for the holidays, if you're sitting at home, if you're unfortunately working your job and waiting to get out, relax. Imagine you have some hot cocoa.
And submit it for your approval.
Yes.
This is another Dark Universe holiday special.
We open on a clear California sky without a snowflake in sight. A narrator speaks.
Let's go back to a simpler time, before hell rose to earth and all our friends died. Shit, I didn't mean to start with a rhyme. Now I feel like I gotta rhyme this whole thing. I'm not gonna do that.
We pan down to a plain beige box of an office building, one story, big enough to hold maybe 30 employees. A wreath hangs on the door. It's the only scrap of decor of any kind.
Oh, well, now I've completely lost my train of thought. I'm going to take a minute. You guys just watch the movie, and I'll check back in once I figure out what I'm doing.
The building is surrounded on all sides by concrete parking lots, almost entirely empty. Not a car goes by. On-screen text tells us we're in Cawthon, California. It's December 13th. A man speaks in voiceover.
Look, I'm sorry, but I have to ask, exactly what do you think makes you qualified for this job?
Cut to inside the office building. It's somehow even more drab than the exterior. We're looking over the shoulder of the man who spoke, leaning over his desk and looking at Hunter Marin, played in the film by Zelia Mendez-Jones and in this reading by Kendra Wells, who sits in a steel folding chair facing us.
Well, sir, I have about 4 years' experience working private security for a pretty powerful figure. All over the world, too. Guy likes to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout this conversation, we don't see the face of the man behind the desk.
And yet your resume says that you're 16 years old. Is that right?
Legal working age in California, sir.
I'm aware, but you realize that would imply that you've been working security since you were 12.
If you would just take a look at my references.
Look, kid, I know this job seems simple, but it's not. Now, I have lots of other jobs I could try to place you in. Candy's Burgers needs cashiers.
No, sorry, I hate to be stubborn, but I need this job.
The man sighs.
Please, just take a look at my references. I promise that'll explain everything.
The man looks down at Hunter's resume. We see a single name listed, Indrid Cold, and a phone number.
Reference, not references.
Give him a call.
The camera is still behind the man as he sighs again and reaches for the phone. Someone picks up on the first ring.
Yes, hi. Is this Mr. Cold? Yes, hi. This is Steve Raglan at the Mocker Employment Agency. I've got a Hunter Marin here.
He stops talking, listening to the voice on the other end. The camera cuts around and we finally see Steve Raglan, played in the film by Matthew Lillard. His mouth hangs open. He's pale as snow. He looks at Hunter, eyes wide. After a long silence, he says,
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. I'll take care of it.
He hangs up the phone carefully.
The job is yours.
Hunter jumps to their feet, happy to be done with this charade.
Great! I'll start tonight.
Wait, you don't want to know more about the place?
Nah, I think I can handle it.
Cut to Hunter getting out of an Uber in front of a condemned site in the middle of nowhere. The sun is setting. They continue talking in voiceover.
I mean, it's just a closed-down pizza parlor.
Hunter unlocks the metal gate protecting the parking lot. They stand looking up at the building. The sign reads, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place.
What's the worst that could happen?
Title card, The 12 Nights at Freddy's, a Dark Universe holiday special. Night 1. Hunter enters into the main entertainment area of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place.
You can say Fazbear.
Is it Fazbear?
I've always heard Fazbear.
Oh, I like Fazbear. Freddy Fazbear.
Freddy Fazbear.
Freddy Fazbear. Fazbear. You know what it is? It's very Midwestern, and I try to hide my Midwestern accent.
You don't have to.
All right.
Be proud of who you are, Dalton.
Hunter enters into the main entertainment area of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place. Look, it's basically a post-apocalyptic Chuck E. Cheese. There are no lights, so Hunter uses the flashlight on their phone to look around. The dining area is decorated for Christmas. Boughs of holly hang above the prize collection area. There's a Christmas tree set up on the far wall, right next to a semicircle stage that juts out, blocked off by a red curtain. The place looks like a tornado blew through, but it was more likely 3 decades worth of trespassing teens. A deflated Santa balloon is draped over the cashier counter, a reindeer antler poked into his ass. Hunter goes through an employees-only door. A sign directs them to the security office, but they ignore it, heading instead to the stairwell. They descend into the basement, emerging into what appears to be a workshop. Broken arcade games line the walls. In the middle of the room is what appears to be some robotics equipment. Hunter ignores it all and focuses instead on the adjacent empty room. Well, almost empty. The floor of the room is decorated with colorful mini light bulbs, the kind you see on old arcade games, arranged in intricate patterns of interlocking circles. They seem not to be screwed into anything, they just emerge from the cement floor as if they were built in. The electricity is off in the whole building, but these bulbs glow anyway, colored light racing along the lines of bulbs like a midway game trying to lure in passing rubes. In the center of the room is one of those test your strength games where you slam a mallet down and try to hit a bell at the top. But instead of a bell, the top of the game holds a translucent purple and green sack. Hunter regards all of this, unimpressed.
Why the hell would the lagoon show up here?
They go back upstairs and this time follow the signs for the security office. The first thing they notice inside is a breaker box on the wall. They pull the switch, and finally the lights come on in the place, although they're flickering and unstable. Along with the lights, a wall of CRT monitors springs to life. Each displays a different security camera feed, One trained on the stage in the dining area, one showing the arcade, others showing the hallways on either side of the security office. And finally, one of them is trained directly on the Test Your Strength game and the egg sack in the basement.
Oh, perfect. A command center.
Out of curiosity, they check the locker against the wall and find a purple vest with security emblazoned on it. Next to the locker, against a wall, lies a limp, moth-eaten, full-body, yellowish bear costume, wearing a purple bow tie, a Santa hat, and gripping a microphone. This is Freddy. He will be sitting motionless in the background during all security office scenes. Minutes later, Hunter sits in front of the monitor wall, feet kicked up on the desk, wearing the security vest. They have their gaming headset on and Steam Deck in their hands. They talk into the headset.
Hey, Phil.
Hunter, where'd the big guy set up shop this time?
The voice of Phil is performed here by Patrick Gill.
Your neck of the woods, actually. Coffin, California.
No shit. I grew up near Coffin. What is it with the ferryman coming to California every December?
Guess he just hates a white Christmas.
Do you need me to cover for you again? I'm a few hours away, but I could make the drive.
No, that's okay. Doesn't seem like the Legion has any holiday plans this year. I haven't really heard from any of them.
Got it. It's so weird that it's in Coffin. There's like nothing there. It's going to take forever for that little sack to fill up. It's got a total population of like 500.
Ugh, not exactly how I wanted to spend my holidays. Pick the worst dump possible, too.
Where is it?
It's like Fozzie Bear's Pizzeria or something.
A moment of silence on the other end.
Wait, not Freddy Fazbear's.
Right. That's it. You know it?
My older brother used to tell me stories about the place. It's bad news. Back in the 80s, 5 kids went missing, all on Christmas Eve. A week later, the owner died mysteriously. People think he killed them, then took his own life. The whole Freddy Fazbear franchise went out of business shortly after.
Huh. Well, as tragic as that is, these days it just looks like every urban exploring video on YouTube. Oh, but I should see if the arcade still works.
Cut to Hunter in the arcade, trying to get the skee-ball wall working. Unfortunately, the machines only take tokens, not quarters, and the token machines are busted. Hunter smacks one around for a while, but nothing happens. Then their eyes drift to the stage in the dining area. They approach it slowly, as if drawn to it. They peek behind the curtain, and what they see makes them jump. It's a trio of 6-foot-tall animatronic animals playing instruments. There's Foxy, a fox with an eye patch and a hook hand. Bonnie, a blue bunny with a flying V guitar. And Chica, a yellow chicken with human teeth holding a plate, on which sits a cupcake with eyeballs, himself named Carl Cupcake. We did not come up with any of this stuff. This is from Five Nights at Freddy's. Just want to
just to be clear.
All 4 characters are in obvious disrepair. Their metal parts are patchy with rust, and their fur is matted and gross from decades of water damage.
Yikes.
Hunter lets the curtain fall, then notices the Christmas tree next to it. Everything else is illuminated in the building except the tree. They root around and find the plug and plug it into the wall. Nothing happens. They frown, disappointed, and walk away. Night 2. Hunter sits in the security office, gaming. Whatever game they're playing, they end up dying for the zillionth time and throw the deck on the desk in annoyance. They check the monitors. All appears normal. They get out their phone and dial a number.
Hunter? That you, bud?
Hey, T.O. Jack, what are you up to?
Cut to Jack Griffin, the Invisible Man, played in the film by John C. Reilly and in this reading by Joe Stando. He's standing in a river wearing a big pair of fishing boots and waders. His cell phone floats up near where his head should be.
Fly fishing. Can you believe Nick had never been before?
Cut to Nick Morton, played in the film by Tom Cruise. He stands in the river nearby, tangled up in a long fly fishing line, looking frustrated.
Nick, say hi to Hunter.
Hi, Hunter.
He's having fun. Where are you these days?
California. The lagoon showed up in an arcade.
Oh, wow, that's perfect for you. A Christmas miracle.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be fly fishing nearby, would you?
No, sorry, bud. We're actually in your home state, the Florida Keys.
Oh, totally. That's a bummer. It's kind of lonely here.
I'm sorry, Hunter. Let's plan a meetup soon.
Jack slips on a rock and drops his phone into the river.
God damn it.
He reaches down into the water to grab it, and as soon as his fingers breach the water, he yanks them back. A long snake is attached to his invisible hand, fangs sunken in deep. He flicks his wrist and throws it off into the brush.
Ah! It bit me! It bit me!
Back in the security station, Hunter looks concerned.
Jack, Jack, are you there?
Jack runs to the shore and Nick follows.
It poisoned me! It poisoned me! Nick, you're gonna have to bring me back.
Jack, calm down.
Am I turning visible? I am, aren't I? Tell it to me straight.
He looks for his reflection in the river and jumps back.
I am!
Jack, that's just your waders. You're not visible.
I'm not?
Let me see. Nick examines Jack's hand. It's not poisonous. You're going to be fine.
Oh, phew.
Jack fishes his phone out of the river. The screen is flickering. Cut to Hunter. Jack's words come through between bursts of crackling static.
Sorry, Hunter. Phone broken. Catch up soon, though. Christmas.
The line disconnects.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Cut to Hunter bringing a full garbage bag out from the restaurant's back entrance. They prop it open with a brick and walk over to hoist the bag in the dumpster. When they turn back around, the brick is gone and the door is swinging shut. They rush to it, but it slams shut before they can reach it.
Ah, come on.
Hunter bangs on the door in frustration. No outside handle. They'll have to walk around to the front to get back in. Before they get going, they hear a rustling sound from some trees behind the empty employee parking lot. There's a whole forest back there. Hunter dismisses the sound and turns away, but then hears something else. A child's voice. Hunter swings their flashlight towards the sound, which is coming from the woods.
Hello?
The flashlight isn't strong enough to illuminate anything past the end of the parking lot, just the vague outline of trees. Hunter slowly advances across the pavement. Hunter reaches the tree line and wanders in. As they walk into the forest, the climate gradually changes. There's snow on the trees and beneath their shoes. Hunter seems unfazed by this. The singing continues, now splitting into a harmony. There are at least 3 children singing now, maybe more. Hunter looks back over their shoulder, but the restaurant and the parking lot are nowhere in sight. It's nothing but forest all around. There are no footprints in the snow. The voice continues to blow through the air like wind, with no clear source. Hunter swivels back around to see 5 children, all under 10 years old, standing in a row facing them. In front of them is a tree stump, a lagoon egg sac placed in its center. Their faces are emotionless, their eyes hollow. They sing as one. Behind Hunter, a shadow draws near. Freddy Fazbear looms over them, his mechanical eyes glowing red. He raises his metal arms, about to strike down on Hunter when... thump! Smash cut to Hunter, snapping awake at the security desk. They'd been sleeping. They jerk their head up and look at the monitors. The egg sac is safe, but in the dining area, they notice that the stage curtain is fully open, and the stage is empty. They cock their head, confused, before sleep pulls them back into its embrace. Behind them, the Freddy suit lies still, just as it's always been, but its eyes seem as if they're trained directly at Hunter.
Night 3 of 12 somehow. Hunter is lying on the ground next to the token machine, reaching their arm behind it to grab the power cable. Their fingers get a hold of it, and they're able to plug it back into the outlet. Excited, they try to obtain tokens from the machine, but it still won't power on.
Come on.
They look around the wall until they find a switch behind glass labeled Arcade Circuit Reset. Jackpot. Someone's put a masking tape label below the button with Sharpie writing that reads, "Turn off master power before pressing." Cut to the security office where Hunter shuts off power to the building. Back in the now dark arcade, Hunter presses the button. Nothing happens.
Okay.
Suddenly, the curtain on the stage rattles open, revealing the animatronic band. But the lights are still off. They're barely more than silhouettes. Hunter jumps as they spring to life, bursting into a loud cover of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree.
What the hell?
They slam their fist into the button a few more times. The band continues to play. Hunter walks up to the stage and examines the animatronics from the ground. There aren't any cables connected to them at all. As the song ends, the robots power down. Foxy's head cocks as it lowers, turning to look directly at Hunter. Hunter backs up, weirded out, then walks quickly back to the office. Their flashlight hits upon the limp Freddy suit, startling them. Realizing that they're looking down at an empty costume, they catch their breath and simmer down.
Night 4. Hunter is on their rounds, walking the dusty hallways with a flashlight, which illuminate posters of the 4 animatronic animals. Hunter's chatting on the phone using a Bluetooth headset.
God, I'm only an hour into my shift. How is that possible?
I would have thought you were used to this kind of shit. Isn't this what you do every night?
We cut to the other end of the phone where we find Gwen Conliffe, played in the film by Amber Midthunder. She's reclined on a couch in a large wooden lobby where a few nondescript people are milling about in big coats and snow boots. It's the lodge at the Castle Frankenstein ski resort. We intercut between the two locations as Hunter continues to wander around the restaurant.
I guess. Maybe it's just being trapped indoors that's bugging me.
Yeah, well, the great outdoors isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Gwen watches a man across the lodge with a rifle laid out on a wooden table, the muzzle pointed her way. He's cleaning it with a dirty rag.
Apparently, the ski lodge is now a popular hunting destination, too. I swear, if I hear about any wolves getting killed around here, I'm going most dangerous game on this guy's ass.
She bares her teeth at the man from across the room. He looks frightened of her. Hunter looks like they've barely heard her.
I don't know what it is, but this place has the most fucked up vibes of anywhere the lagoon has ever taken me. Maybe it's just the holiday blues. I don't know.
Hey, could be worse.
What? I could be spending Christmas at a beautiful ski resort with my girlfriend and my old Dark Legion roommates?
Please, this was not my idea. Victor and Cassie essentially kidnapped me and Charlie back to Europe for Christmas so I wouldn't have to spend it in the States without my family. You know, the one I fucking murdered.
Right. Shit. Sorry.
Never mind that I killed them in Europe when I was living with Victor and Cassie. So this is probably worse than if they'd done nothing. They just wouldn't take no for an answer.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty awful.
Before Hunter can say anything more, 3 figures of wildly variant sizes approach Gwen's couch from behind, carrying skis, their coats covered in a fine dusting of snow.
Here they come now.
Victor Frankenstein, Javier Bardem, voice of Dalton DeShane, Cassie Falk, Meredith Ethan, voice of Joe Kroger, and Charlie Willowbrook, Deborah Jacobs, also the voice of Dalton DeShane, step into view, engrossed in their own cheerful conversation.
Hey, Boo, you gotta join us out there. The powder is perfect. Oh, sorry. Didn't see you were on the phone.
Yeah, just catching up with Hunter.
Victor leans down.
Please give them my regards.
I can hear you, Victor.
They can hear you.
And please let them know that Cassie and I will be making sweet potato tamales with Christmas dinner.
It's a new tradition we're trying out.
Back at Freddy Fazbear's, Hunter smiles a little.
That's really sweet, you guys.
At the lodge, there's a sudden gunshot, deafeningly loud. Gwen, Charlie, and Cassie cover their ears. Victor falls straight backwards, a bullet hole in his chest.
Victor!
Oh my God, Vic, are you okay?
Victor is still for a moment, then sits straight up like the Undertaker.
I am unharmed.
Oh, Jesus.
Gwen turns and points at the Hunter.
You're on borrowed time, Craven.
His eyes widen and he hurries away. Gwen turns back to Victor and hugs him.
Just rip my heart out, why don't you?
No bullet can harm me. You know this.
He gets to his feet.
Come on, Gwen. I got a pair of skis with your name on them.
She's not kidding. She had them monogrammed.
Gwen rolls her eyes and gives in a little to the good cheer as Charlie pulls her to her feet.
All right, I'm coming. Guess I should get off the phone.
Right. Have fun. Talk to you all later.
The call ends, leaving Hunter alone in the dark, decrepit restaurant. They step on a pile of broken glass.
The hell? That wasn't here yesterday. What kind of dumbass would sneak into a shitty old video arcade?
Smash cut to day 5, the next morning, where a station wagon is speeding down an interstate highway. The driver exhales a cloud of smoke out the window, which blows backward with the movement of the car before disappearing and eventually revealing Pete Davidson, playing himself in the film, but voiced here by Branson Reese, with one hand on the wheel and the other on a New York Knicks novelty vape pen. He looks characteristically relaxed until a sign up ahead catches his bloodshot eyes.
Oh, shit!
His passenger, who has been napping with a big straw hat over his face, jolts awake. What is it? The hat falls onto his chest, revealing Larry David, playing himself in the film and voiced here by Dylan Roth, who coughs as he breathes in a lungful of Pete's vapor. When he recovers, he remembers why he was annoyed in the first place. What's with all the yelling? I had a really good nap going.
We gotta make a stop.
The car speeds past an old, faded road sign, barely legible under years of graffiti. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, 4 miles. Cut to Freddy's interior. The power is off, but sunlight pokes in through the shuttered blinds. The front door rattles. Then a pause. Then a trash can crashes through the glass, breaking it wide open. Pete steps through the hole, followed by Larry. What the hell are you doing?
What, you thought I just wanted to look at it from the car?
This is what I get? This is what I get for inviting you to the winter house. You know I'll get kicked off the condo board if we get caught?
Larry, I've been here 2 days, and if I have to play pickleball with Muriel and Agatha one more time, I'm gonna kill you and them and then myself.
You were excited about pickleball. You've been talking about it for months.
Yeah, because I saw challengers and I thought I'd get a threesome out of it. But getting railed on both ends by 2 octogenarians that talk like Patty and Selma, it's not what I had in mind.
Pete spots something.
Oh shit, here we go.
He picks up a chair and runs toward a claw game, smashing the front glass with it. Larry rolls his eyes. For Christ's sakes.
This is the guy.
Pete pulls out an oversized stuffed animal of Freddy Fazbear. What am I looking at? Am I supposed to know this bear?
This is Freddy. What, you don't know Freddy?
Larry gives an exasperated shrug.
I watched so many YouTube videos about this place. The lore is crazy. There was this inventor, William Afton.
The EPA douchebag from Ghostbusters?
That's William Atherton. William Afton designed a new kind of animatronic whose robotic parts could kind of slip off to the side so that they could also be worn by actors. That way the characters could do their automated performance on stage and then come out later and hang out with the kids and stuff. He called them springlock suits.
That's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you just use regular animatronics, then make costumes that look like the animatronics?
It was an immersive experience, bro. They had a location in the strip mall in Staten Island. My older cousins loved it. They had all the toys and shirts and shit, but I never got to go before they got shut down.
Okay, well, you got your bear. Can we go now?
No way, not till I smoke up with Chica.
He hurries to the stage and pulls the curtain back. Larry grimaces, anxious to leave.
Oh, shit.
Pete cackles at the sight of the animatronics. He hops up on the stage.
Wait, where's Freddy?
Oh, for the love of... Would you get down? What if there's security cameras? Pete lights a blunt and sticks it into Chica's metal beak, also smoking one himself. He hands Larry his phone.
Come on, just get a pic of us.
He throws his arm around Chica, who is, as always, holding the anthropomorphic cupcake with eyes and buck teeth. Right, who needs security cameras? Let's just incriminate ourselves. Larry reluctantly aims the phone camera, landscape, and snaps a photo. Just as he does, the cupcake's eyes flick from their dead center position towards Pete.
Fuck was that?
What was what?
This is for Instagram, Larry. Portrait. Rotate the camera.
Right. Sorry. Larry adjusts the camera and snaps a few photos of Pete with his arm around Chica. This time, Chica's own eyes move towards Pete. Excitedly, Pete hops off the stage and takes the phone from Larry so he can inspect the pictures. We can see the subject's eyes shift from one photo to the next, but Pete doesn't notice.
Yes, this is tight, man. 8-year-old me would be flipping out right now. I had a huge crush on her.
On the duck?
She's a chicken.
Larry shakes his head. I can't believe Kate Beckinsale had sex with you. Pete slaps Larry on the back.
Come on. Go on up and I'll get one of you.
With the duck?
Yeah.
Larry cocks his head a little to the side and looks Chica in the eye from below. We cut back and forth between the two of them as he sizes her up. The smoking joint still dangles from her bill between two of her human-style lower teeth for some fucking reason. I don't think so.
Larry, why are we friends? Why do we hang out so much?
Well, for 2 years, I thought you were going to marry my daughter. Then you dumped her for a pop star, and I'm really very grateful for that. That bought you a lot of leeway.
It's because I push you out of your comfort zone, man. I shake things up. Now get up on that stage and smoke a joint with that duck.
Cut directly to Larry on the stage, awkwardly holding a joint and putting his arm over Chica's shoulder. At the end of her opposite shoulder, Chica holds the little plate with the little Carl cupcake on it. Carl looks up at Larry and furrows his metal brow just a little. Larry takes a puff and lets out a It's good stuff. Pete points his phone camera up at Larry and Chica.
Okay, say Chica!
Chica! The moment Pete snaps the photo, Carl Cupcake leaps off of Chica's plate, propelled by a telescoping metal arm like the kind on the Joker's boxing glove gun. The cupcake's teeth snap onto Larry's Adam's apple. Larry clutches his throat and tries to scream, but can't make a sound. Carl Cupcake quickly retracts back onto Chica's plate with Larry's voice box still between his teeth. Larry falls to the floor of the stage. Pete's first instinct is to run to Larry's aid. Good lad. But he stops cold when Chica turns and looks down at Pete. Smoke from the joint wafts from her cold, red, robotic stare. The other animatronics, Foxy and Bonnie, slowly come to life and start walking towards the foot of the stage towards Pete. A slowed down rocking around the Christmas tree starts playing over the PA.
Oh, fuck!
Pete gets up and starts running towards the dining room, but Carl Cupcake once again springs off of Chica's plate and grabs the back of his puffy winter coat. Pete slips and falls to the floor. By the time he gets up to his feet, the animatronics have already caught up to him. Foxy slashes his chest with his hook, and Bonnie whomps him upside the head with his big metal fist. Pete collapses on the floor, and we cut to black. We fade back in, viewing the dining room from a distance, as a backlit Bonnie drags a body to the back room, leaving a trail of blood behind him. Match cut directly to Hunter standing in the dark restaurant, their flashlight pointed at the trail of blood on the floor. Night 5.
Well, that wasn't there last night.
Hunter cautiously follows the blood across the dining room floor and through a door marked Employees Only. On the other side is a long hallway lined with props and cleaning supplies. The blood leads all the way to the end of the hall, where it makes a sharp left turn. Hunter takes the turn quickly with their flashlight out in front of him. The beam lands on an impossibly slim figure with a round head and long limbs, like a gingerbread man as drawn by Tim Burton. It's cleaning the floor with a mop and an old rolling janitor's bucket. This is the puppet. The puppet looks up at Hunter, who yelps and starts running back down the hallway from where they came. Hunter sprints down the dark hallway, flashlight beam bouncing erratically. Over their shoulder, barely visible in the dark, is the outline of the puppet, tall enough to reach the ceiling. It doesn't run. It doesn't need to. Its long legs stretch out like a spider's, crossing long distances with a single stride. Hunter drops the flashlight. All is dark except for the outline of the employees' only door ahead. Just before they pass through it, they bang their shoulder on a pipe jutting out of the wall. They spin through the door, get wrapped up in their own feet, and fall, banging their head on an arcade game. Cut to black. When their eyes open, sunlight is streaming in through the shuttered blinds. They climb groggily to their feet, rubbing their head. They look around the arcade, and their mouth drops open. It's spotless. The mess that Larry and Pete left has been cleaned. The chairs are upright. Somehow, even the glass on the door and the claw game have been fixed. And next to the stage, the Christmas tree is fully lit. Hunter shakes their head and heads for the door.
Nope. Not getting involved. This is none of my business.
They shove the front door open, and just as the sudden sunlight blinds us, we hard cut to...
Night 6. Hunter sits at the monitor wall, arms crossed. We zoom in close on the monitor showing the stage. Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie have sprung to life and are climbing down off the stage. Hunter doesn't move.
Not my problem.
Night 7. Same shot. Hunter's arms are crossed. On the monitor, we see that none of the animatronics are on stage. We hold on the empty shot for a long while until suddenly the puppet scrambles across the frame, the video distorting as he does so. We change angles to Hunter's profile. In the doorway, looming over them, is Foxy, claw raised as if to strike. Without even looking over, Hunter presses a button and slams the automatic door in Foxy's face.
Fuck off.
Night 8. Hunter sits at the monitors again. This time, everything appears normal. The animatronics are on stage and standing still, as they should be. Hunter heaves a sigh of relief. The narrator.
Hunter tried hard not to get sucked into this whole spooky mystery. After all, they're a night watchman, not a super sleuth. But that wouldn't be much of a story now, would it?
A faint sound crackles from the security monitor.
No. Nope. Not gonna listen.
It crackles again. A brief snippet of something musical. Hunter groans and slams their fist against the speaker.
What?
Through the speaker, we hear the sound of children singing. Hunter rolls their eyes and spins their chair 180 degrees away from the monitors. But instead of seeing the opposite wall, they find they're now in the snowy woods again. Their chair is bolted into the cold ground, and across from them are the 5 children, standing again behind the stump that holds the egg sack. Hunter gets up.
Hey, look, whatever this is, I don't want any part of it, okay? Okay, if you're gonna be home for Christmas, go do that. Go be there instead. I don't even have a home to go to for Christmas because my only home on this whole damn planet is that stupid egg sack.
As if on cue, the children move, forming a circle around the stump.
Hey, wait, no, you can't touch that.
Hunter tries to get between the kids, pulling at their arms to get them to let go of each other's hands.
Hey, kids, get lost. That's not for you.
Behind Hunter, the snow starts to shift and rise. The puppet rises out of the ground, stretching to its full height, arms reaching for Hunter. Just as it grabs them, Hunter wakes up at the monitor station. They spin around away from the monitors to see if the forest is still there. It's not, but the puppet is, towering over Hunter, crouched to fit under the ceiling. Hunter shouts and darts between its legs, running out of the security office and into the arcade. They stop and turn, but they're not being followed. Still catching their breath, they make their way downstairs to the egg sack and the sigils of multicolored light bulbs. It's still intact. They breathe a sigh of relief and collapse against the wall. Night 9. Hunter makes their rounds through the arcade, chatting on the phone again.
And yes, something is clearly going on here, but I'm not Mulder and Scully. It's not my job to go from town to town solving mysteries. I'm a security guard. That's it.
From the other end, we hear the voice of Evelyn O'Connell, played in the film by Rachel Weisz. They're barely audible over the roar of the wind.
Yes, you must be careful not to put the whole weight of the world on your shoulders, Hunter.
By the way, where are you? I can barely hear you.
Cut to Evelyn. She stands in the snow in the middle of a blizzard, wrapped in a thick down coat with a fur hood wrapped around her head. She's being beset by yellowy, shambling mummies, keeping them at bay with a torch.
Greenland! I was just passing through, but a group of illegal whalers came ashore and disturbed a local Inuit holy site. I'm just trying to find a way to return the bodies to their rest before they begin to feed on their own descendants.
Okay, maybe you're not the best person to vent to about this.
No, I totally get you. Nobody likes to work alone on Christmas. Back! I don't want to hurt you.
Hunter has made their way back to the security office and plops down in the seat.
No, now I just feel kind of like a dick. I'm the keeper of the Black Lagoon, the veil between life and death, the only entry into hell itself besides, the door.
At this, the head of the Freddy suit behind Hunter lifts for the first time. Hunter's back is to it, so they don't see. Freddy's eyes narrow.
I guess that does come with some responsibility.
Oh, don't be too hard on yourself, Hunter. You're just a...
Before she can finish her sentence, a sword bursts through her chest from behind.
Evie? You okay?
Cut back to Evie, and our new angle reveals that the sword actually just burst through the edge of her coat and missed her body.
Bloody hell, this coat was vintage!
She turns on the mummy and roars, brandishing her torch.
I've got to go, Hunter. Best of luck.
Yeah, you too.
And Merry Christmas!
Merry...
The line hangs up before they can finish saying it. Hunter sighs and then yells to no one.
Fine! You win!
Behind them, Freddy's head drops again to its original position. Hunter turns at the sound and for the first time spots a slip of paper tucked under Freddy's leg. They approach slowly, creeped out by Freddy's empty eyes staring down at the floor. They quickly snatch the paper and back away. It's a child's drawing of 5 kids holding hands in the woods. Behind them is the puppet. Hunter frowns, then folds the paper and puts it in their pocket.
Night 10. Hunter is at the security desk with one eye on the monitors and one on their phone. They've got headphones in on a call with someone.
All right, Phil. What have you got for me?
Okay, so get ready for some pretty wild stuff. I dug up some old newspaper clippings and compared them with the drawings you sent me. Articles about missing kids always include detailed descriptions of what they were wearing when they were last seen. Obviously, the drawing isn't very detailed, but it's a perfect match for the hair color and outfits of the kids who went missing on Christmas Eve in 1987.
Well, what about the weird spindly robot thing?
That is the character who used to work the prize counter. It never had an official name, so most fans just either call it the puppet or marionette. There's some arguments about it.
Arguments? About Freddy Fazbear?
Bro, you have no idea. There is a whole community that's totally obsessed with this. And it's a good thing, too, because otherwise I'd have no idea what the fuck is going on. The story is cobbled together from a bunch of vague hints and ridiculous contrivances.
Shit. Sorry you had to grind through all of that for me.
Are you kidding? I'm having a blast here. I never thought I'd get to be your guy in the chair, seeing as you're already kind of a guy in the chair.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas, I guess.
Hunter looks down at the drawing at their desk.
The 5 missing kids keep showing up in my dreams. So do the animatronics.
That could mean something. There are a lot of fans that are convinced that the ghosts of the missing kids still haunt the restaurant.
Ghosts, huh? I know somebody I could ask about that.
Smash cut to Carol Lemley, portrayed by Darcy Carden in the film, and in this reading by Steph Salo, jumping up and down in her festively decorated Portland, Oregon apartment. She screams at her phone.
Yes! Finally, some real fucking ghosts. Oh, Hunter, this is going to be the best Christmas ever.
Her wife, Dr. Jennifer Halsey, portrayed by Annabelle Wallace in the film, and in this reading by Ella Dawson, steps into frame and gently puts a hand on Carol's shoulder. She leans in to speak into the phone.
Technically, this appears to be a form of possession. The children aren't ghosts so much as they're trapped inside these animatronic bodies. Souls can't wander the earth without a vessel.
So far as you know.
So far as we know, but they can be captured inside of objects, assuming they've been properly prepared. It is conceivable that a soul that's been placed inside a machine that's already capable of moving on its own could potentially animate its own vessel.
Like that haunted good guys doll you were telling me about.
Precisely. But I suspect the magic used to trap these souls in Freddy Fazbear's band was far less advanced, the work of an amateur, I'd expect. And unfortunately, most spells like that require sacrifice.
Wait, like human sacrifice?
Yes.
Wait, Jenny. All this magic stuff you've been tinkering with, you're not doing anything like that, are you?
What, human sacrifice? No, Carol, dear, I would never.
You promise?
There is no spell on earth that would be worth that, love. I've seen firsthand what that kind of thing did to people like Arminette.
They kiss.
All right, you two, get a room. I'm gonna go do some more digging.
Okay, Hunter. We love you.
And Merry Christmas.
Yeah, love you too.
They hang up and stare at the children's drawing.
What do you kids want?
Night 11. I was just realizing that for every night we should do kind of like the Christmas Vacation thing where there's an advent calendar, but it's like a Freddy's advent calendar and you open it up and there's like a little figurine of the animatronics or something.
Oh, that would be cute. I would
That'd be
have to
cute.
think of like 25 or I guess it would be 12 characters to put in there.
Yeah, well, there'd just be Easter eggs or something, you know,
Sure.
like lore references.
Freddy's fans, just imagine what the Easter eggs would be. Because
Whatever thing we left out that you really love, imagine
Yeah.
it's in the little doorway.
If you want the what you call it, the one that's like a doll, like a Cupid doll that the other daughter's soul gets put into because that's just the only move this franchise has. I'll vent later.
Night 11. Cut to Hunter in the same place, but their eyes are bloodshot and baggy, like they've been awake since we last saw them. They're staring at their laptop screen, light flickering on their face, but we don't see what they're watching. They get an incoming call from Phil.
Hey, Hunter.
Phil, I think I cracked it.
What? Hunter, are you okay?
Yeah, I've been doing research.
What kind of research?
YouTube videos.
Oh, no. You fell down the rabbit hole.
I found this guy who was the night manager when all of this stuff went down. Apparently, there was an accident during the company Christmas party. A bunch of kids of employees went into the basement workshop and a malfunctioning animatronic killed them.
Jesus.
That's not all. One of the kids who died was Evan Afton, the son of the guy who invented the suits.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading that. William was so guilt-ridden that he ended up killing himself a week later.
No, he sacrificed himself in order to put the souls of the dead kids into the animatronics, thereby restoring them to life.
Whoa. Hardcore. Wait, you said the only animatronics left were Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, and the Cupcake. So where's the fifth kid?
I'm not sure. The puppet, maybe?
Maybe. But the puppet was different than the other suits. It couldn't fit a person inside it. Not sure how that affects its ability to host a soul.
Yeah, me neither.
You've been going pretty hard on this the last couple days, Hunter. I thought you didn't want to get involved.
No, it's not. It's not that I didn't want to help the kids. I just didn't want to do it alone.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Something on the monitors catches Hunter's attention.
Something's up. I gotta go.
They sprint out of the office without hanging up. In the arcade, Hunter finds Chica, Foxy, and Bonnie standing in the middle of the room, holding hands in a triangle.
Hey, what are you doing?
No response. Hunter approaches.
Look, I know who you are and I want to help. Just, you gotta tell me what you want. How can I help bring you peace if I don't know what you want?
They're standing right next to the robots now. They realize something.
Wait, where's the cupcake?
Hunter runs back to the security office to find Carl Cupcake sitting in their chair, looking up at the monitors.
Hey!
The cupcake leaps at Hunter's face. They dodge at the last second, then kick the cupcake as it hits the floor. It scurries away back to the arcade. Hunter looks at what the cupcake was looking at.
Oh shit, the egg sack.
Hunter, you still there? What's going on?
Hunter looks at the arcade feed. The animatronics are gone. They start flipping through alternate camera feeds.
I think they want to get into the lagoon.
What? Why?
I don't know. What if William Afton is still in control of them somehow? What if he wants them to let him out of hell?
Can they do that?
No, but they don't know that.
Finally, they find the feed. All 4 animatronics are walking slowly down the basement hallway to the egg sack.
Shit.
Hunter flips through a security manual, looking for the right button to press. Right as the animatronics reach the lagoon room, Hunter presses a button and a metal door slams in their faces. The robots pound uselessly on the door. Hunter collapses in their chair.
Did you do it? Is it safe?
For now, but I don't think that will keep them out forever. It's time to end this.
Behind them, Freddy's eyes narrow. Night 12, Christmas Eve. Hunter stands at the monitor station, headband around their head and game face on. The animatronics are nowhere to be seen on any of the screens.
Okay, Hunter, no more tutorial level. This is the real thing. Let's go over the rules. What do they want? To get into the lagoon. How can they do that? With this button.
Close up on the button Hunter pressed earlier.
This is the only way to unlock that door. There are 2 entrances into this room.
They look at the doors on either side of them, both open.
Unfortunately, the circuits are broken and I can only close 1 door at a time. So, I keep an eye on the monitors, I see which direction they're coming from, and I keep them out. No matter what.
We get a section here now that's just like the video game. Hunter flips between...
We were just talking about Doom, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is our first-person shooter one, except for this is our point-and-click adventure sequence.
Yeah. Hunter flips between camera feeds, watching for the robots. We see them in flashes, standing still in the corners of the feeds. Chica and Carl Cupcake approach first, and Hunter slams the door on them. They check the feed and release the door once they're gone. Bonnie approaches from the other side, and they do the same thing. While the door is closed, they spot Foxy in the hallway on the other side, standing spookily still. They keep an eye on him, ready to switch doors. They're distracted when Bonnie suddenly pounds on the closed door. In the instant they look away, Foxy sprints, faster than we've seen any of them move. Hunter tries to slam the door on him, but he catches it with his hook.
Shit!
Hunter darts past Foxy out into the hallway. They run for the basement, but Chica suddenly appears in front of them, beak wide open, jaws coming toward their face. Everything goes black. Hunter wakes up in the snow. They sit up, groggy, blinking at the woods around them. A few feet away, the defunct Freddy suit sits, covered in a layer of snow. Then, from behind the suit, a child emerges. He looks at Hunter.
Evan? Evan Afton?
The boy nods.
Hey, don't be scared. I'm here to help you. It's your dad, isn't it?
Evan nods again.
You don't have to listen to him anymore. He's gone. He can't control you.
Daddy's not here.
But he's trying to be. He's making you and your friends go for the egg sack.
Evan says nothing.
Right?
Evan shakes his head.
I haven't seen my daddy in a really long time.
Then why do you want to get into the lagoon?
Evan begins to cry.
Because I want him back.
Oh, Evan.
I want my daddy back!
Evan, I understand, but this isn't the way.
You don't understand. I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this robot and I can't move and my daddy is missing and all I can do is get my friends to do stuff for me.
Wait, you're controlling the other kids?
They want to. They said they're going to help me bring my dad back.
Evan, you have to listen to me.
They pause when they notice Evan looking at something over Hunter's shoulder. Evan frowns.
What is it?
It's him. The fake daddy.
Evan hides behind the Freddy suit again as a shadow extends over the snow. Hunter turns in time to see the puppet approaching, reaching for Hunter.
And then Hunter wakes up. For real this time. Bobbing up and down 4 feet off the floor. They scream when they see that they're being carried by the puppet. The puppet sets them down next to the prize display in the arcade.
Who are you?
The puppet doesn't speak. Instead, it reaches into Hunter's pocket and withdraws the children's drawing. It points to the kids, then to itself.
Wait, William created you, didn't he? Before he died, you take care of this place.
The puppet nods.
And that includes taking care of the children.
The puppet places a hand over where its heart should be.
Listen, you gotta help me. The kids are about to do something very dangerous. If they succeed, they might get taken away, someplace they won't be able to return from. Will you help me stop them?
The puppet stands to full height and nods firmly.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
Cut to Bonnie in front of the door to the lagoon. He hits a button next to it with his flying V guitar, and it swings open, unlocked. Bonnie, Chica, with Carl, and Foxy lumber one by one into the room towards the Test Your Strength game, where the egg-sat sits, slightly glowing from an unnatural bioluminescence. Bonnie gets nearly within arm's length of the egg sac. He raises his instrument over his head, about to slam down on the egg sac with it like a mallet, when suddenly, all the lights in the workshop behind them turn on. The broken game cabinets buzz to life, and their garbled music and sound effects blare throughout the room. Distracted, Bonnie looks behind him and sees that Chica and Foxy are likewise startled. When Bonnie looks back at the Test Your Strength game, the egg sac is gone. Bonnie glances up and sees Hunter sprinting across the room with the egg sac tucked under their arm like a football. When Bonnie takes the first step to chase after Hunter, he's whomped upside the head by a fist thrown from above. The puppet swings down from a light fixture and kicks Bonnie in the chest, knocking him backward into Chica. They both fall backward, but Foxy swiftly dodges away from the fray and leaps towards the puppet, yanking it down along with a light fixture. Sparks fly, lights flicker, and we watch as a strobe-lit brawl begins between the two machines. Hunter takes cover behind a tall arcade cabinet and watches the fight, which is right along their route back to the entrance. They scan the room, looking for another way out.
Does this basement not have a fire exit? Fuck, this place was a death trap before it was haunted.
A shadow falls over Hunter. It's Chica, dented and sparking, holding the infuriated Carl cupcake. The cupcake springs forward, and Hunter once again goes on the run, weaving between cabinets. Bonnie appears from behind as if from out of nowhere. Hunter's sneakers squeak to a halt on the floor as they change directions, but either Bonnie, Chica, or Carl seem to be around every corner. It's an intolerable marathon of jump scares. Back in the lagoon room, Foxy stabs his hook into the top of the puppet's head and slowly drags it across its face, splitting it in half. The puppet's eyes flicker, its motors whine, and it finally drops limp to the floor. Foxy looks up at us like a hungry, hunting animal. Hunter sees an opening and darts for the door, only for Foxy to put his hook through the collar of their security vest. Hunter loses their balance and falls hard on their tailbone. They shake off the vest, but by now they're surrounded, with all 3.5 robots looming over them. Hunter looks up at Foxy, who's silhouetted by the light up from the stairwell. Foxy raises his hook, about to stab down when... Ping! We hear the clang of metal hitting metal. Then Foxy goes perfectly still. His eyes flash bright red, then go dark. Something pulls Foxy backwards, and he falls rigid to the foot of the staircase. There are a pair of taser contacts against Foxy's back. We follow its wires to a spent taser gun being held by a man in his late teens. The look on his face is 50% relief, 50% panic. Hunter looks up and smiles.
Phil?
It is Phil, played in the film by Gaten Matazzaro of Stranger Things and voiced here by Patrick Gill. Phil drops the taser and extends his hand to Hunter, who grabs it. He pulls them onto their feet and they sprint up the stairs together, the egg sac still tucked under Hunter's arm. Chica and Bonnie both try to follow up the stairs at the same time and are crushed against each other between the stairway's narrow walls, buying our heroes a few precious seconds. Hunter leads Phil to the security office and slams the door shut behind them. They throw their arms around their friend.
It's so good to see you, man.
You too, Hunter.
Hunter lets Phil go and punches him in the arm.
What the fuck were you thinking?
You said you didn't want to do this alone.
You could have died.
There's a banging on the security door. We cut to Bonnie, Chica, and Carl wailing on it, trying to bend it open. Inside,
we're still gonna die.
Hunter turns their attention to the limp Freddy animatronic against the opposite wall. They run to it and take a knee.
Listen, Evan, whatever you may think, I do understand what you're feeling. I was separated from my mom, my dad was barely ever a part of my life, and I'm alone most of the time. But I remember what it felt like to have them both close to me. I remember how safe that felt, how it would keep me warm even during the darkest, coldest time of the year.
More thumping on the door. The hinge is buckling. Phil braces himself against his side of the door, trying to buy more time. Back to Hunter.
I thought I'd never find that feeling again. But I did. I made a new family, and it didn't happen on purpose. I was in danger, and someone helped me.
Back to Bonnie, Chica, and Carl banging hard against the door, putting dents in their own metal exoskeletons.
They risked their own lives to protect me. They made sure I was safe. They helped put me back together. That's what family is. Your father gave up everything so you could have a second chance without him.
Hunter extends an arm down to Freddy.
Will you take it?
We hear a buzz of sparks from inside of Freddy, the labor of a busted motor and slipping gears. Slowly, Freddy's right arm struggles upward. His hand opens, shakes, and then clasps onto Hunter's. Hunter pulls Freddy into a hug. The robot's giant head slumps onto their shoulder. Crossfade to the woods. Hunter holds young Evan Afton close. The 4 other children stand in a circle around them. Once again, we hear them sing. A narrator speaks. And so, Hunter Marin finally brought peace to Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Cut to Hunter, Phil, and a fixed-up puppet repairing the Freddy Fazbear animatronic in the security office, while the other animatronics wait out in the hall like a concerned family. Finally, the door to the security office opens, and out steps the restored Freddy Fazbear. The other robots cheer. With Hunter and Phil's help, the puppet was able to repair Freddy Fazbear, allowing Evan to join the other lost children and finally feel like a person again. Fade to the main dining room, where Freddy, Chica, Carl, Bonnie, and Foxy dance together on stage while Hunter and Phil sit at a table, smiling and clapping. Behind Hunter, the sun is rising through the glass of the front door. The light is interrupted as a group of figures walk through the entrance. Hunter turns around and beams with joy. They jump out of their chair and embrace Jack Griffin, who's wearing his classic purple robe, bandages, and sunglasses. He's not alone. Nick, Gwen, Charlie, Victor, Cassie, Evelyn, Carol, and Jenny are all here too.
What are you guys doing here?
You think we'd let you spend Christmas alone?
We know the holidays can be hard, especially when you're tied to the lagoon, so we all talked it over and decided this year we'd bring Christmas to you.
And so the Dark Legion was reunited for Christmas morning. Gwen managed to get the token machine working again.
Cut to Gwen tearing open the metal box with giant werewolf hands.
And Jack fired the kitchen back up.
Cut to Jack making pizza in an old rusted oven.
And as for the animatronics haunted by the ghosts of dead children, well, they finally got to have a real Christmas for the first time in nearly 40 years.
The puppet bends down to hand a gift to Freddy. He opens it, revealing a new microphone and top hat, freshly refurbished from the workshop. He puts it on and hugs the puppet. Next to him, Foxy attempts to eat some pizza, which just sort of gets mushed up in his metal jaws before falling to the floor.
And Phil was there. How about that, huh? Didn't think we'd ever see him, did you?
Cut to a shot of a closed storage closet. It looks normal, but we zoom in on it ominously.
No one ever found the bodies of Larry David or Pete Davidson, which I guess is a shame, but at least didn't spoil this joyful family reunion.
Cut back to the dining room where both families, the Dark Legion and the Freddy Fazbear Band, bask in the warmth of each other's company. We pull back out of the broken front window to an aerial shot of the restaurant as, improbably, snow begins to waft down peacefully from the sky. Fade to a stately sitting room, where a man in a smoking jacket sits in front of a warm fire. He closes the large volume from which he's been reading and addresses the audience directly.
This has been the 12 Nights at Freddy's, a Dark Universe holiday special. I'm David Krumholtz. Merry Christmas, everybody. Be good.
Fade out.
Post-credits scene.
There it is.
Larry David is awakened by a yelp. As before, he's lying back in the passenger seat of a car with his hat over his face. What is it? We pull back and see that once again, Pete Davidson is behind the wheel. This time, however, he's white as a sheet.
Hey, Larry, remember that time we died?
Oh, yeah. That was awful.
We gotta make a stop.
We can now see through enough of the car windows to notice that they're driving down a paved highway through a barren red desert under an orange sky. Larry sees something up ahead. Oh, boy. The car passes a road sign that reads, Hell, 4 miles. Cut to black. Larry and Pete will return in David and Davidson Go to Hell. To be clear, we're not making that.
No.
That just would be next Halloween's Halloween special.
And we'll be right back.
Greetings,
Greetings, kids. It's your pal, Fred Schneider here. If you listen to this podcast, you may be familiar with the B-69s, the only band that covers modern pop songs in the style of my band, the B-52s. Well, it's the holiday season, and they've done it once again, covering songs by Charlie XCX, Chapel Roan, Sabrina Carpenter, and the Spice Girls. The EP is called Brat, but it's in the style of the B-69, so it's not. And it's available now for free on BandCamp and coming soon to a streaming service near you. So come on and bring your jukebox money. But for real, though, this is actually Dalton DeShane. This is not Fred Schneider. For legal purposes, I just want to say that Fred Schneider does not endorse what I'm doing. I don't even think he knows about it. And if he does, I hope he's not mad at me. But go listen to the EP. Welcome back to the 12 Nights at Freddy's.
That's right.
A dark universe.
One of the sweatiest title-driven gags we've ever done on the show.
So, Dylan, how did this come to be?
I don't remember what happened that brought this phrase into my head. We were thinking about other punny names. I was like, we didn't start last year's with a Krampus Carol.
No,
right?
that was very
late. Last-minute addition.
It was driven by like basically making a dark universe version of the Santa Claus.
Right. And so we were talking about things to do, and I think at some point we were like, what if we did a Christmas movie? We didn't pick a Christmas movie, right? What if we just picked something that was a pop culture thing that was within the Universal Studios wheelhouse? This was, in this case, through Blumhouse, who made the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which I hate. I think at some point I was like, yeah, we do the 12 Nights at Freddy's. And like that was like as a joke. And then I started thinking about like, wait a minute, let's do that.
Yeah, you kept bringing it up throughout the year, like, and we're definitely doing 12 Nights at Freddy's for the holiday special.
And then as soon as we started actually writing it, I immediately regretted it.
Which was, I thought you had the whole thing worked out.
No,
so
I mean,
like, great, I don't have to worry about the holiday special this year. Dylan's got it figured out. So it's the 12 Nights at Freddy's. Great.
I can't even explain why I was so tickled by the idea of doing a riff on Five Nights at Freddy's, a thing I don't like.
Yeah.
That made this much more, the thing is, like, when you want to do a little parody of something, the idea of making it, like, longer and more complicated than the thing you're making fun of, bad idea. Don't do that. So we were doing literally twice as many nights, which means we had to have that many story beats. For those of you who are our age or older and do not know what the fuck we've been talking about for the past hour, Five Nights at Freddy's is a series of independent video games that are essentially point-and-click adventures built around jump scares.
Point-and-click horror games, yeah. Like, I think I've played, like, the first two, I think, on my iPad. And, like, they're really well-designed, spooky little, like, mobile games.
Right, and they're all built around this idea of, like, this forensic storytelling, which is a thing that I like, and that's, like a good thing that video games do best, right? They're not going to tell you what the story is about. You have to figure it out as you play through the games and find little clues.
So here's my experience with Five Nights at Freddy's, which is that one of my hometown friends, Chris, I went home for Christmas one year, and he had become obsessed with like the YouTube lore and stuff. But when you play the first couple games, there really isn't any story, and there doesn't need to be. It's just like, oh, well, the Chuck E. Cheese band came to life and is trying to kill you, and you're a security guard. And so you're like blocking them out. But it somehow inspired this huge culture of YouTube essayists who were like looking, there are like story details in the background. They were putting them together, making videos of like, this is what happened. And then I think the games responded to that by leaning more into doing that.
Right. And then you started having these mini games and cutscenes that would show you like flashbacks and stuff that would still be very vague about identifying who is what. So there's still like, I give credit to Scott Cawthon, the author of all these games. First of all, it's hard to make a game by yourself. And that's more or less what he did in the early days, I understand.
Yeah. And it's very scary. It's a scary, effective game.
But,
it became sort of a self-generating lore machine.
Yes, but the thing is that it goes immediately against one of our very first sort of maxims for this project, which is that it's horror, not lorer. And so there are two things about Five Nights at Freddy's that sort of like piss me off conceptually. One, it is the kind of thing that people are obsessed with because they watch other people play it, not because they're playing it themselves. The way it got popular...
That's what my friend Chris was. He was too scared to play the games, but he would watch endless YouTube videos about the games.
Right.
And what they mean.
It blew up at first because this guy, Markiplier, who was a popular YouTuber, played streams of it where he reacted hyperbolically to all the scares, right? Because that's what gets clicks. You gotta have a thumbnail where you're going, ah! Right? And I kind of hate that shit, right? But it's also a grumpy old man thing, right? Like it's very It's a very popular form of entertainment to watch other people play video games nowadays. They have more viewers than anything on CBS, right?
Yes.
And like, all right, I can understand that's not just for me. The other thing is that so far as I can tell, because I did not play the games, I just watched a bunch of YouTube content about it and had seen the Universal Blumhouse movie that came out last year. I reviewed it for Observer. I gave it 1 star. Is that it seems like it is really like not in service of anything. I couldn't tell you what the fuck this story is about. Like on like a thematic level. Like what, I don't know what, if anything, Scott Cawthon is trying to say throughout this now 9-chapter epic.
Yeah.
It feels, it is purely a theme park thing on your computer or your phone.
Which I think is fine. Like, we probably have fans that love Five Nights at Freddy's.
I know we do. In Discord, I know this. I didn't know what that abbreviation, what TNAF stood for until our patrons explained it to me.
Oh, it's FNAF.
That's what I meant. Right. I put T because we called ours 12.
Yeah,
right.
I've been texting you
FNAF. FNAF, yeah.
But yeah, because like I think it's fine if you're going to make a mobile game that's like an effective little jump scare machine, which is perfect for a mobile game. Spooky little horror point and click, great. And then you put a bunch of Easter eggs in and people can tie that together. Like, I think that is a perfect amount of content for the form, right? But as it like grows and grows, and especially when you try to then make a movie out of it, like
which Cawthon co-wrote,
yes, it ends up showing the limitations of that.
Yeah,
like
because ends up having this whole thing is built around one move, which is like, all right, as a horror concept, even before you put in the ghosts, like the idea of, oh, you're trapped in Chuck E. Cheese and the robots are trying to kill you, great idea. And they add the extra thing on top, which I kind of respect, which is, oh, they're actually haunted. It's not a malfunctioning robot story. They're haunted. Okay, so now let's keep adding more and more robots to this story, and they are all the ghosts of dead children. And like, it's like, okay, well, these ones were an accident, but then, you know, the other owner of the thing, his daughter gets murdered, and she gets put into this robot because in the lore, the puppet is actually the daughter of the other founder of Freddy Fazbear's. I did do a lot of research.
Let's maybe bring this back to our script
Yes.
and the research we did.
Oh, before we forget, we got the real David Krumholtz on the air.
Or did we? We don't know.
Before we forget, we didn't get the real David Krumholtz. We recorded both versions of that. And
maybe you heard David Krumholtz just now.
You might have heard it. If it wasn't my voice, you heard the real David Krumholtz.
We tried again. We tried last year just by tweeting at him a bunch.
This time
year,
we're going to go through professional channels.
Yes.
And if I can get it done in 2 weeks, we will have David Krumholtz.
Yes, IMDb Pro, come through for us. We're going to reach out to his people.
Maybe he did it out of the goodness of his heart. Maybe we bought you guys all a nice Christmas gift with your own Patreon money that you paid us.
Yes. Or maybe it was just Dylan talking.
Or maybe it was just me. If you hadn't recognized it was my voice, then it was me. If you did not recognize it, that's David Krumholtz, baby.
And if you
recognize it as David Krumholtz, I'm sure he has many fans out there who are listening right now.
If it wasn't David Krumholtz, next year it will be.
Yes.
We'll finally get him. Yes.
We'll start negotiations now.
Yes.
For next year's holiday.
And keep saving up more and more of your Patreon money.
Yes. Okay, back to our script. So yeah, I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, I really kind of don't get it at all.
You were very insistent on doing it.
I don't know why. I just couldn't let it go.
And so I decided to watch the movie. I was also not a fan of it. You can read my Letterboxd review, but I won't go into it. Like I said, I think they are great mobile games, and I think in that form they work great, but I thought a holiday special actually was a pretty good vehicle for it because we could add some of our own Dark Universe stuff. And it's a very short, abbreviated form, so it's similar to a mobile game. And we could just incorporate whatever lore we kind of wanted.
Right.
Now,
we made some changes.
Yeah, you went through and like watched all the YouTube videos or something, or like did a Wikipedia deep dive on the game lore, which I was like, I don't really care. We'll do whatever we want.
I felt
and
like
I'll watch the movie at least.
I owed them that, right?
Yeah, and we were able to work in some stuff like the puppet that you got from your research, which I thought that was something you created when I read it. I was like, oh, that's a cool little monster.
I like
we're
the puppet.
adding to the lore.
No, I got to give thanks to Wendigoon, whose video about the whole mythology of all the games, the 1 through 7, I guess,
There's 7 of these things?
Yeah, and actually there's more, but they're made by like another studio, and they sort of don't count.
They're making like a AAA version too, right? Like a big like open world Freddy game.
Yeah. Anyway, so I want to give thanks. That was the video that was the one where I used as the base for my notes. And then I did further research around that to try and clarify stuff.
But we threw a lot of it away and just sort of made up our own story that fit with Hunter's experience. And that's while we were writing this, I sort of kicked us off. I got us into Freddy's. I wrote the first couple nights, and I knew you were doing a bunch of research. And so I sort of was just leaving the lore up to you. But at a certain point, we got stuck.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of lore and we didn't know what it was adding up to. And I know you were feeling a little frustrated because you texted me at once, like you were like, I don't think this is going to be a masterpiece. And I was like, no, we'll make it good, But how were you? You seem like you got to a point where you were kind of frustrated with the dead end of it.
Yeah, I think that I was, like I mentioned earlier, we've been suffering a little bit of burnout, I guess, creatively. And I think that this project was something where I think I had to face that because I was adapting something that I not only am indifferent to, but kind of actively dislike, that I had to find something in this story to care about. And we did end up finding it. We were having a text conversation and we were just kind of bouncing ideas around and eventually kind of found what the heart of this was, where the spirit of Christmas is really, because just like last time, we had a lot of ideas, but we didn't really necessarily know what is this about. And as always, it's about family, right?
But I mean, you messaged me at one point. You were like, man, I'm really seeing like why these title-based premises don't work. Because we had done our fun thing. We wanted to get David and Davidson involved. We thought because David and Davidson, we've tied to our Blumhouse wing, right?
They kind of do the
Enter the Blumhouse. So. This is a Blumhouse property. Plus, we've never gotten to actually write David and Davidson. It's only been a pitch that Branson Reese did. If you haven't heard it,
really
Branson
fun
Reese,
episode.
Yeah, pitched his version of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, but it's David and Davidson Meet the Grabber from the Black Phone. So we had to get David and Davidson involved. We got to kill them, which was very fun. And that got to be some of our horror Five Nights at Freddy's stuff.
Right, because we didn't get to see some people get fucked up by these robots.
Yeah, we had to have some bodies to pile up. And you were like, man, like I feel like the joke is like kind of at a dead end. And I was like, well, I feel like once the joke kind of reaches its conclusion, we got to replace it with heart. Like we got to find, like Hunter's got a story here, which is that they're lonely on Christmas. They're missing the Dark Legion. The Dark Legion is not getting together this year. It's very different than the last year's holiday special. And so we need to focus on Hunter's journey. And so you had sort of bullet pointed all of this lore, and I went in and I took a look and I was like, okay, well, here's a couple things that we can just rework to then make the children's story more similar to Hunter's story. And then the lore then becomes important because it's important to our emotional arc, right?
Yeah.
And like
that was the real thing that kicked us back into gear.
And I think we could probably go through this and clean up the lore a little bit.
Sure.
We were very ambivalent on whether we wanted to keep the puppet or remove the puppet. I don't know that the puppet's necessary. I don't know.
We like the puppet visually.
Visually, it's very cool.
We had to either use the puppet or I think what the real parallel I was going with for a while there was a draft of this where we had Fredbear as the limp Freddy puppet in the end, which is a completely distinct thing in the lore of the games.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's annoying and I don't like it. But I was trying to keep it because like that felt like that was part of the challenge. And you were wisely like, no, let's just have Freddy not be on stage. And then we make the return of Freddy to be something that's kind of makes a fulfilling moment that we don't see the whole band until the end of the story.
Yes.
Great idea.
Yeah, Freddy's defunct, which is another way of like kind of our Dark Universe thing of like subverting expectations. Like, if you've seen the movie, you'll recognize the cameo from Matthew Lillard at the top, but he doesn't end up being William Afton like in the movie.
Right.
Or like you expect Freddy to be the main animatronic thing, but he's broken down the whole time until he gets repaired at the end. And we only see him really as a good guy, as like he now comes in and unites this family of children,
Yeah, and I think that at some point along the way, there was an idea where I wanted this to be about reuniting the ghosts of these kids with their actual, like their biological families. And like Hunter was going to call in a favor from Indrid, and we were going to have an Indrid cameo. And then they were going to, instead of the Legion showing up at the end, it would be all these parents. And one of them would be Steve Raglan, aka William Afton. But you came up with a much better idea of having Afton and Raglan be two separate characters. And Afton sacrificed himself because we were also, this ties into another thing we want to talk about, trying to find little ways to nod to each of the deaths of the characters that appear here, and we wanted them to all be degrees of funny and poignant. Here we actually do a human sacrifice, which makes it much closer to, it ties it into the terrible fate that is going to befall Carol in Love Never Dies.
Yeah, so those of you who predicted this, you were right. This was an early idea I had, which, well, you came up, I don't remember, but
I think you were like I came up with the idea that I wanted to have one central character.
Yes.
I wanted it to be Hunter. Some of it was because if it's a video game thing, it should be Hunter.
Yes.
And the other was, how about
Hunter does get their playing the video
Yes.
game moment at the end where they're basically playing Five Nights at Freddy's in real life.
But I think also it was kind of a practical thing in that we have a shorter production cycle on these than we do on the Dark Legion movies. And I thought, how about just for the expediency of trying to make sure we can do this right, let's put the lion's share of the acting on one actor who we can like talk to.
Shout out to Kendra Wells.
Thank you so much, Kendra. Who can be the lead of this. And I came up with the idea of, because Five Nights at Freddy's should be one person there, right? If you have a whole gang, even if you have like the whole Scooby-sized gang, it's too many, right?
It's too many.
So I like the idea of Hunter reaching out and each of them, we're checking in with each of the other characters and seeing how they're spending Christmas. And you came up with the idea of, let's do it in the order that they die.
Yeah, let's do it in the order that they die.
Death's Door.
And have each call sort of... have them have a close call with death the way that they will eventually die.
Right. And we had to make a couple substitutions because at this point in the timeline, Maria has not been introduced, but Gita Jackson is the voice of both Maria and Evelyn. So Evelyn was an easy swap in there.
Yeah, because Evelyn hasn't died yet. But yeah, we had Jack get bit by the snake. We had Victor get shot. Gwen says, "Rip my heart out, why don't you?"
Yeah.
Of course. I wanted to make them obvious enough that they'd be funny, I hope, and not twisting the knife too much.
Most of them weren't that mean, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're that mean. I hope this makes their deaths a little easier because now we get to see them alive, and it kind of lightens the tone of them a little bit.
But the other thing that I like about keeping the screen time of the Legion limited is that, I mean, we did just kill off these characters. I feel like to give them too much screen time immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like... I think I might have said this in the air about something. Like, what if in Spider-Man Far From Home, instead of just having the sunglasses that say, you know, where Tony Stark is sort of from beyond the grave helping him, even dead, I am the hero. What if you had like Robert Downey Jr. do a scene? Too soon. Don't do it. So this allowed us to kind of keep things, keep not just little tastes of each of these characters that we miss.
But we did want to give you all, as a listener, a little holiday present, which was seeing the Legion back together again. Like I really felt strongly that if we were splitting the Legion up, and that was kind of, you know, what part of the emotional backbone of the story is Hunter being lonely because the Legion's not around. We had to bring them all together at the end, partially just so you, the listener, could have the Legion together at Christmas in your ears, you know, and in your imagination. We've put you through a lot this year. I mean, this year has been brutal.
Yeah.
Through all of Phase 3 and Death's Door. And so I really thought it was important to have this be a nice heartwarming ending with Hunter and the whole Legion and these kids, you know, having Christmas for the first time in 40 years, which was another thing about the parents that we abandoned it, but I was like, we do have to remember that all these parents are going to be 40 years older than they were when these kids went missing.
But like,
we're going to have like a little bit 70
more,
and 80-year-olds.
When I was thinking of a little bit more of like, I think a more sincere and bittersweet sort of ending, as that was part of it, be like reunited after all this time. And I liked the image of all of these parents who have been grieving their kids for all this time, just embracing these giant robots that are their children, because who gives a shit? It's my kid. They're back. Here they are. And I thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
But we get to have our cake and eat it too, and that we have that version. And I get to tell you about this one afterward.
But we wanted to make Evan really sort of the Hunter character of this is another person who is without his family and just wants to be reunited. And Hunter gets to teach him the value of a found family, or, you know, which is kind of what our show is all about.
And speaking of which, we have Hunter's bro, Phil, finally appearing on screen.
This was important to me. I think this was something I mandated. I was like, Phil has to be...
Gotta have Phil.
The old man from Home Alone coming in at the end and saving Hunter and making this grand appearance, because we've never seen Phil.
Yeah, and I decided it should be a Stranger Things kid.
Yeah.
That felt appropriate.
Yeah, for sure.
It should be, if you're going to do a reveal like that, it should be someone that most of the audience is going to recognize.
Yeah.
So like, who's the right age and what's the right vibe? Yeah, sure. We'll get
Stranger Things. So yeah, it was fun to have Phil make his first on-screen appearance, and Phil and Hunter bro it out a little bit.
Yeah, and we got Patrick Gill, noted gamer and game content producer.
Yeah, we're very adamant that gamers should be played by gamer actors.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You can't play gamer.
Yes. But yeah, and so That was the 12 Nights of Freddy's. Oh yeah, that was the other thing is like we knew we had to skip some nights because
we had to do a little bit of montage.
And so yeah, we were initially thinking we were going to do like a Scooby-Doo style montage. And I got to that point in the story and you had brought up the idea of like, I want the thrust of this plot-wise to be that there's all this lore and Hunter doesn't care about it. Hunter does not want to engage with the Five Nights at Freddy's lore.
Well, because that was how I was going to that's kind of how I was going to use my ambivalence towards the source material to try and get some comedy out of it, being like, Hunter is maybe somebody who would just want to play the game at most and does not care about all this stuff. But the problem is that the stuff that's interesting theoretically about Five Nights at Freddy's is all the stuff that's under the game. And so... And also maybe a little bit of wishful thinking that I would kind of get sucked into the rabbit hole. I didn't. I wanted to. Again, I want to like things.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of critic who gets off on not liking the popular thing. And especially, I want to be hip, right? I'm a parent now, and I need to be that cringe dad who's trying too hard to be into the hip thing. I don't want to be the rolling my eyes at what my kid likes dad if I don't have to. I don't like this. I don't like it very much. But I wanted Hunter needed to get invested, right? Because the whole thing was just that Hunter didn't care. Then the turn at the end of like sincerely emotionally connecting with Evan, that wasn't gonna come out of nowhere. So they needed, at first, like Phil is their gateway to caring, and then they do care.
And also Hunter doesn't care because they've got their own Christmas blues to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Like they're sad about not being with their family for Christmas, that they're stuck in this dark, broken down arcade that they can't even play the video games, you know? So they don't want to get invested. They don't have that they don't have a surplus of empathy right now.
Yeah, but it's also the thing where like one of the things I like about Hunter and our ensemble is that unlike a lot of the characters who either very quickly or gradually turn into superheroes, Hunter is still just a kid.
Yeah.
Right? And Hunter has a simple, specific job that they do and a very solitary life. And it's like, it kind of sucks, but the interesting thing about it is usually getting to go to new, exciting places. Nope, I'm in a shitty arcade that has been closed for 40 years in California.
Yeah.
So not a great time for Hunter.
So when it came to the time of like, okay, we've done a lot of this setup. We have a lot of nights to get through. You know, we want to do the Scooby-Doo montage, but I got there and I was like, I think we just have Hunter being stubborn. Like the story engine is moving now. Let's have Hunter just resist it for like 3 or 4 nights in a row.
Nope.
You know, just like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to do it. But I think this gets at something, you know, you're saying like Hunter's ambivalence was going to kind of reflect your ambivalence. One thing I'm glad we didn't do is let our frustration towards Five Nights at Freddy's leak into our script. Like, I don't think at any point we're making fun of Five Nights at Freddy's.
I did a couple little jabs.
Okay.
I think the idea of the springlock suit is deeply stupid.
It's
the kind of idea
stretch,
you would only come up with if you had to reverse engineer putting the bodies of dead children into animatronic.
Which it's the kind of thing that I think, again, mobile game lore, fine,
Sure.
I buy it. But when I saw it in the movie, I was like
that's
I don't
really
think this
stupid,
works. Yeah.
Right? And then I have at some point Phil say, yeah, you really need the community to do this for you because what's there is just a big jumble of ideas that don't really fit together in any coherent way.
Yeah, I think we do. There's a lot about about the YouTube sort of. There's a lot about YouTube lore and everyone just being really into the lore. But I think that's stuff that like
it's pretty playful, pretty lighthearted.
It's pretty playful.
I don't think you can tell until we got there. Like, I don't really like this.
Well, I think at least me, I really wanted to make a good, faithful Freddy's adaptation. And I think, I mean, obviously we change the details of the lore, but that's fine. That's what we do. We reinvent things for the sake of the story. Honestly, I think the movie should have done more with that. Like, I don't think you have to stick as closely to what the games do. You have to tell your story. And I think one of the things that's frustrating about the movie is how scared of the fans you can tell it is because it refuses to change any details to make things work better in a movie setting. You know?
Except for making a thing that we also retained is that making Carl Cupcake a distinct child ghost.
Oh, is that different?
Which is different. I'm pretty sure there's not usually I think it's an extension of Chica in the games.
But yeah, I really wanted us to use this setting and lore to tell a good story about Hunter and the Legion, and hopefully we pulled it off. But yeah, I didn't want this to be like, hey, isn't Five Nights at Freddy's stupid? Because I don't even think that, you know, I think it's just, you know.
And that would just be like, who would that be for? right?
Us. It would be for us.
Well, sure, but I mean, like, if you're making like a sort of a cheeky sort of spoof like this,
a chica sort of spoof.
sure. And then like the idea is, people the title reveal should be a pop for people who know and theoretically like Five Nights at Freddy's, right? And so am I gonna spend the whole movie making fun of them for liking it? No, only a couple little things, only a couple little beats. I think otherwise I played pretty nice.
Couple little playful jabs.
Yeah.
But we can do that about everything. I feel like we do those for Universal monsters sometimes too.
We do it at each other's scripts sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. So this was really fun, and I hope this. I'm guessing it subverted a lot of people's expectations.
I don't think anybody saw this coming at all.
Any predictions for a Five Nights at Freddy's riff, but hopefully this delivered what you wanted from a Dark Universe holiday special, which was some warm and funny hijinks with your friends, the Dark Legion, and also an unexpected Five Nights at Freddy's entry in the Dark Universe. This is our Dark Universe Five Nights at Freddy's, basically.
This version of it is canon.
Yes. And I think this is our first Blumhouse property that we have tackled.
I mean, the two of us?
Yeah, outside of the Abbott and Costello episode.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, so far, like that's sort of how The Exorcist is getting brought in, but we haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
This also is reminding me that this is sort of kicking off what I imagine to be a string of like fun ones. Right? Because like the old Dark House, I kind of imagine being a little bit goofy. I know you, maybe you don't want to say.
I'm not going to say yet.
Okay.
I would not rely too heavy on it being a feel-good film.
Okay, all right.
Let's not put that kind of weight on it because I don't know if it's going to be that.
All right. Well, I would tell you that Mystery Men is going to be a fun adventure, goofy movie. It will be in a similar tone to the Mystery Men film.
The Exorcist, I'm going to tell you right now, is going to be brutal.
Oh, I'm sure. Right. But for me, and Field of Nightmares, and I still kind of resist the idea of changing it to Field of Screams, even though it does kind of feel like I should maybe change it to Field of Screams. But I often change the title of these. Now I feel like I got to stick to my guns on this one. That I do not expect that one to be grim either. That one will be fun. That one will be a sports movie. So if you've been bummed out by the last couple of eps, stick around because we've got a lot. Yeah. We've got a lot of light, fun stuff coming ahead. Not to say that there won't be bloody and violent.
Guest episodes.
Guest episodes are always fun.
Yeah. But yes, we hope you enjoyed the Dark Universe holiday special. We hope you are having a lovely holidays, whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate anything at all. Thank you for spending another year with us.
Yes. Let's give
wonderful.
a quick thank to our patrons. Please take a moment to thank our executive producers, Brian Egan, Callie, Mar Bendlar, Matt Thackeray, Moose, and Soonmot. Thank you for supporting us at the $15 a month level. And let's have a big round of applause for our studio executives, Alyssa, Beerus, Bill French, Brent Dreyer, Joe Valiant, Jonathan Morgantini, Cadel, Noel T, and Tom Webster. Thank you so much for supporting us at the $25 level. We've been really enjoying your studio mandate segments where you request what movie we will do a loose guest episode style pitch for a Dark Universe remake on our bonus podcast, Are You Afraid of Dylan and Dalton?
Yeah, we are going to be taking a little break now for the holidays. We're going to be back in about a month. We're diving straight back in with my version of The Old Dark House, which I am already writing. If you are going to be missing us, of course, you can join us on the Patreon at patreon.com/Dylan and Dalton. Sign up. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of talk about this one. On your long holiday drives and travel, catch up on the bonus episodes. Most recently, we named our favorite media of 2024. We talked about movies and TV shows and music and all kinds of stuff. Just kind of a year-end wrap-up episode. And so we'll see you in about a month. We're going to take our little break. But before we go, we are going to once again leave you with some holiday tunes. I have a second Christmas song.
What?
Yes, this one I actually wrote a long time before New Traditions. I wrote this song probably 10 years ago.
Have I heard this one?
Probably. You've probably heard me play it at a Honda Days or something like that. It's called Fireside.
I think I know this one.
Yeah, we're going to play that. And then maybe a Christmas song from Dylan.
I would really love to finally have This Christmas Is Yours out there in the world. This Christmas Is Yours is a Christmas song that I have been conceptualizing for way longer than it should have taken to write, considering I usually write a song in a day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically a Christmas song about not going home for Christmas for a variety of reasons.
And similar to David Krumholtz, if you don't hear it after this, next year. We'll get it next year. This is the David Krumholtz of the end of the show. And if not, maybe you'll put another No Jersey
I'll put another
song
No
in
Jersey
or
track
something.
on there, yeah.
And listen to the B69s. There's a new B69s EP probably out by now. I'm finishing it up. It's called Brat, but it's in the style of the B52s, so it's not. Until next year, stay afraid of the dark universe.
December came in like a polar bear missing its young, teeth bared and a look that said I'll leave when I'm done. So we huddled by the fireside waiting it out. The pop and crackle of a Yule log couldn't fuel our dying conversation, but I'm trying now, the fire's waning, to find a reason you should try to see me through one more New York Christmas, 'cause I couldn't spend it missing you. So here's my gift to you. Maybe I can change. December came in like fresh frostbite on your toes, burning in slowly till the whole damn foot has to go. Still we huddle like the warmth could cure us all on its own. The snap and sizzle of glass ornaments falling from the firmament, warm the dying tandem while my lights are out, the life is gone. But under boughs dry, a lonely present lies, gift wrap box tied with a bow, inside it lies a note I wrote for you. Says maybe I can change. Maybe I can change. Maybe I can change. Maybe I can change. December came in like a polar bear missing its young, teeth bared and a look that said I'll leave when I'm done. So we huddled by the fireside waiting it out. This Christmas, maybe I can change. Stay with me one more Christmas, maybe I can change. My gift to you this Christmas is maybe I can change. Stay with me one more Christmas, maybe I can change.
This Christmas will be different. This Christmas will be better. It'll be brighter. It'll be lighter. It'll be yours. This Christmas is yours. Snow is falling in the city. It's a beautiful tableau. But your family's in the suburbs, and every year we go, rushing back and forth from one place to the next on Christmas Day, with a heavy sack of presents on a public transit sleigh. But I know this year's been difficult, it's been rough to say the least. And you're stressed and you're exhausted, you can't get no relief. And maybe what you need this Christmas isn't wrapped under a tree. It's a quiet week alone, just you and me. So maybe this year you don't go home. Let this year be the Christmas with the family that you've grown all on your own. This Christmas will be different. This Christmas will be better. It'll be brighter. It'll be lighter. It'll be yours. This Christmas will be different. This Christmas will be better. It could be quiet. You'd be delighted. It'll be yours. This Christmas is yours. It costs more money than we've got to fly out there from where we are. And you've got more family baggage than we can pack into the car. If you really think it's worth it, we'll max out our credit line. But can you call it a vacation if you're stretched out the whole time? These last few years it's been a little harder than before. And the dinner table's turned to a cold front in the culture war. It's crypto-fascist uncle versus neo-Marxist aunt. Somehow it always falls to you to lead détente. So maybe this year you wave the flag, a celebratory surrender, a retreat to make the new year not so bad. This Christmas will be different. This Christmas will be better. It'll be brighter. It'll be lighter. It'll be yours. You'll teach them all a lesson. It's a bit passive aggressive. If they feel slighted, at least they're united, and it'll be yours. This Christmas is yours. Ho, 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 let's string up some mistletoe. Hang it anywhere you like, and I will follow. We could make our own traditions for what Christmas is about, and spend the whole week drinking naked on the couch. I know sometimes I take for granted what the holidays will mean. A warm reception from my parents and the Muppets on TV. But if your hometown just reminds you of your childhood battle scars, then you've got no obligation to nobody who don't love you as you are. This Christmas will be different. This Christmas will be better. It'll be brighter. It'll be lighter. It'll be yours. This Christmas won't be cheerless, 'cause this Christmas you'll be fearless. We'll have each other one way or the other. It'll be yours. This Christmas is yours.